Hey folks, and welcome to today's video. Today we are doing a visual representation of the juice from a white map all the way to the most juiced map I've ever ran in Path of Exile. There's been a ton of talk for the longest time about investment in maps. How much should you put in a map? How juicy can you make a map? What should you be doing? And that's all well and good, but there's not people, to my knowledge, really showing you what that looks like. So here we have our absolutely basic map, like nothing to it, and you can go ahead and you can run it. You're going to see roughly what an average map will look like. It's going to take 1 to 2 minutes to clear. There might not be many monsters in the map. Now, along the way, you might find a Chaos Orb or two. You might find a Divine Orb. You might even find an Exalted Orb randomly. That's entirely possible. You might even find a Mirror of Calandra. You might find a side area that drops a good Vaal. There are a ton of things in the game that even though you're not juicing your map, it doesn't mean it's not worthwhile. And you get to the end of the map and you can see that that is kind of the level of density. Go and get your map and you can use an Orb of Alchemy, right? And you can alch your map. This is going to give it a lot more mods. You can already see here there are more monsters filling the map, not as much dead space in the map, and that is the power of an alchemy orb. There is a large amount of power that can be had for what we call alch and go, meaning take your map, use an alchemy orb, and run for a couple of minutes, do the league mechanics, and you will find that you might make a fair amount of currency doing this strategy. Things can still drop that are worth a lot of money. Don't have people con you and say, oh, nothing can drop. Things can drop. Exalts, mirrors, good items, stuff can drop, and you might get a few more bits of currency. As you can see, I even think just running through that map we got a little bit more currency. Now, I'm not fully clearing these for the sake of the tutorial, but you can see that a little bit more investment gets you a little bit further. Now, the next one you can really go for is, and as you're using 4 chisels, you can then alch the map and then you can Vaal it, and you might end up with one like this. You can get 15 chisels for a Chaos Orb. So basically, chisels are free, basically, and Vaal Orbs are kind of free. So for just the price of a Chaos Orb, real investment into your map, you're going to see already that. And remember, these are all one-take examples, so maybe some maps falter, maybe some maps aren't the perfect example, but you should be getting a rough idea here that there's a lot more stuff in this map. You can sprint through this map, and you can now see, right, there's a lot more density. Things are beginning to happen. There's a few div cards dropping. See here, there's an abyss. There's all this stuff popping off. This good stuff is flying out. You can imagine that doing this for several hours is going to net you a lot more currency than if you were just chucking an alch or not even chucking an alch on the map. That's kind of where most people will stop, and there's no management. You don't have to trade most of the gear. You're going to have yourself, the alchs, the Vaals, the chisels, and it's a grand old time. You might use your alched Vaaled map, put in a Legion Scarab, you might put in a couple of pieces, and you might put on a master mission, and there's not really much trading required. You're just using the gear that you find, and this is costing maybe 4 or 5 chaos a map. And you can see here already that a Delerium has happened. A Delerium is going to generate more money, and you can see already the density of map. There are beasts here. There's the Searching Exarch, which has just popped. Forget all of that. Forget cost. Forget the word investment. It's more fun to shoot a lot of monsters. Fact, right? So you can see that this altar has now appeared. And this altar is going to either positively affect you or negatively, but there's going to be some kind of outcome, and it's going to spawn some mobs. So in here, I'm going to lose a little bit of evasion, but I'm going to gain a pack of monsters that spawn. There's not much management. You're not awkwardly buying Sextants off a guy from trade that won't respond. You're just using the stuff that drops, really, that you're probably never going to sell. And I think a lot of people don't do this. And this is a level where really everybody should be mapping at. to be completely honest. You should be using the stuff that drops. Don't be scared. During this map, this is probably the most currency we've made, correct? We've found already 4 Chaos Orbs, right? That is now the map paid for. So the way you can see it is, well, the map's paid for. Everything else that drops now is just bonus stuff. And all it cost me was using the stuff that really was just sat in a tab that I wasn't going to use. So the next level is going to be, once you've done the quest lines of the game, you're going to get these watchstones here. These watchstones are going to give you some higher tier maps, but they're also going to allow you to put some sextants. You might have picked up a few of these. You're like, bro, these are worth 3C each. Do I want to put 4 on my map? And do I want to waste them? They add... Okay, look, 6 additional packs. 6 additional packs. And these add some extra monsters. So you will now be going and you'll be doing your Alcd chiseled map with the odd fragment that you find. And you might now throw a few sextants on. Okay, what's the next level? Well, the next level is getting some decent sextants. Some stuff that is actually useful. And then, again, some scarabs that are actually useful. Is we can put these fragments in. If you're unsure how to get a map device that has 5 slots, you effectively, what you do is you run 4 of these emblems, white, orange, red, and green, and then you unlock it. I'm going to roll some good, useful sextants here. Additional abyss, right? So you get an extra abyss. That's going to be money. You get 2 lots of monsters. Great, that's some money. And hunted traitors are going to pop out some currency. As well as we're going to be doing Abyss, Breach, Expedition, Ambush. We're still going to be going ahead and putting in a map that we alked and we valed. Because I've got an additional Abyss and I've got a Sextant Abyss as well. I'm going to be getting pack size and my Abysses will be much more juicy. If we compare this to the map we were running that was white... it's beginning to look like a different game almost. There's not much downtime on a map. There's boxes going off. There's monsters popping out. There's going to be abysses chucking out monsters. Tons of monsters spawning. And if you sit and you do this for long enough, again, the investment... It might seem a bit daunting. I want you to understand that I get it, bro. I'm not like a YouTuber that is like completely deluded, right? This takes a while to get to this point where you want to sextant your map, but I'm showing you the stages that you can go to. You see somebody with a mage blood been like, hey, bro, just put 50 chaos on your map, bro, and make a load of money. It's fucking easy. I want you to understand that... I get it, man. Every time you put money on the map and you don't have a lot of currency, it's a bit of a worry because you're like, I'm actually going to get anything? Because you might do this map. You might spend 20 chaos on your map, right? And you might be like, bro, I didn't get 20 chaos out of this map. But if you do it enough, it will come good. So at this point, you've got all of the right fragments. You might have even leveled up to the next level to get even more money and used gilded scarabs and better sextants and spent a little bit more time and wasted a little bit of currency to get the correct setup. So you can chuck one of these orbs on here and it will make your player delirious, and that means you're in this fog of war the whole time and you are, quote, delirious. Now, you can now see just how different one of these maps will look. So this has all of the sextants on. The orbs I'm using are going to be giving me currency rewards. And I think at this point I'm about 60% delirious, meaning there's 2 extra levels to go. So what you can see right now is there are a lot of monsters flying out. I'm constantly popping currency. I've had a 6-link drop, and there's just action all the time, right? These maps cost a fair amount. You're going to see that I have a strong character and that I'm able to get through this still relatively quickly because I have a strong character. But monsters are taking time. There is now an actual fight going on in the map. There are things happening where I'm having to target down bosses that are spawning. I'm inside a very juiced breach. I can't really kill the stuff fast enough. There's too many monsters. And this is a very, very fun map. Again, this is achieved with Sextants, with a good atlas, the correct atlas nodes, a few Delerium orbs, and the correct Scarabs linked with your Sextants. This might sound like a lot of work, but I just want to show you guys how things go, how the game ramps up, and why you might want to invest more in your character. Because yeah, you can do a tier 16 white map that's alked, but can your character survive a situation like this, right? That's why these players end up with these expensive builds, to survive maps that are more juiced. Because yeah, there's a bit of ego inflating, absolutely, but also if you can do harder content, you will make more money. Like a joke when I say that some of these white monsters and some of these blue monsters and stuff in the map and uniques, they have more HP than Shaper. Like, you actually need a crazy damage build and survivability, or vice versa, to get through some of these maps. This is not something that I've been doing for a long time. This is the first league I've been doing it, and I've been playing POE a long time. But I want to show you again the next level of juice that's kind of available to you, is just look at kind of what's going on here. We've had 2 6 links drop already. I can't even get out of, rather than getting up the first half of Tropical Islands, I can't even get out of the first quarter. There's so much loot, by the way, that if you press the Alt key to check, you will literally crash offline. I've had so much loot that I was having to change server, I was having to change from lockstep to predictive, and I was coming out with 10 plus divines a map here. What I'm trying to do is, each time I play POE, is find something new to do, and I've never done this before, and I wanted to share it with you. So you can see here that there's so many chaos orbs, there's so many 6 links that you have to not die, and you need all of your portals available to you to literally carry the loot out. And the loot that you're carrying out is heavily filtered, so you're not just carrying out junk, you're carrying out chaos orbs, annulments, simulacrums, all of that stuff, right? Map, shall we say. This one of the alpha missions is more dense than the blooming chiseled map with fragments, and the HP of these enemies is brutal. And that's just kind of the level that you can get to. And I just wanted to share with you like a visual example of just how crazy some of these maps can get, and why you might want to keep investing in a character so you can get to this point. Because I know for me, for the longest time, I'd have a character that could kill tier 16 bosses, I had a character that could do juiced maps, and I'd just run around a map and eventually get bored and really wonder what's the point of kind of doing this. You know, what is the point of improving my character if it can already do everything? But there are extra levels to this, and I want you to think about this now. My character has now finally reached the point where it can do 100% Delerium with juiced everything, but there are situations like when I open a breach, I don't have enough damage really to kill everything and then proc more beyond monsters, and more beyond monsters will give more divines, etc, etc. Like, you can see here that there is just so much stuff going on that I'm struggling to even battle my way through it. And this is the next level, right? I now might think about, if I was still going, I might think about, well, this is really profitable. I'm going to make an even more insane character that can kill more monsters in this content, that can do it quicker and safer, and I'll get more money per hour. And then I might aim for purchasing mirrors, and I might purchase mirror gear because I'm making so much currency with my character. What I think's cool about the game is you're a guy on a beach with a sword, and then it ends up turning into this, right? And I just think it's a neat game. I really enjoy the game, and I wanted to share this with you just to maybe, it could even give people some motivation to carry on grinding, because sometimes, man, you get to a point where you're doing like Alcd maps with some fragments, and you kind of like, what's the point of me spending an exalt on this piece of gear when it's going to make no difference? I can already do the map anyway. Well, The reason is that it might enable you to do maps like this. If you enjoyed this, leave a like, leave a comment, consider subscribing, check me out live on Twitch. Thanks very much.